got my mic muted, I think. Can you guys hear me? I had to reschedule a little later tonight. Had a lot going on today. Sorry about that. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the live. So I got a little video to play for you guys, and we are giving away one of these tonight. A Yeego, I think there's 620 watts, something like that. A Yeego LED. One of those aluminum LEDs I've been pushing. I'm going to give one of these away tonight. I think at the drawing, though, I'm just going to pick a random number and we'll just pick between 0 and 50. We'll see if we get some people in here. Last week, we did good. Somebody even made a comment. I think it was Will. Sorry, my glasses are toast, man. That last week, we got like 4,000 views on the live, which is really good. And if you guys would, like and share the live if you would. On your phone, on the live, on the very top of your phone, there's 3 little dots at the very right corner. If you click on that, it gives you a place to look at the description and like the live. And also at the bottom of your phone, there's the thanks. And that's, you guys basically buy me a cup of coffee when you do the thanks. What's everybody up to? Hey, Motorin, how you doing? Hey, Doc Mojo, welcome to the live. If you guys didn't see, I'm giving away one of these LEDs tonight instead of a tool. What do you think? These things are awesome, man. I'm going to play you guys a video of give you a sneak peek of my video that I'm working on right now about a 5-pin relay. Were you guys here? What'd you guys think of the 5-pin relay that we did on Tuesday? For those that were here. Yeah, I don't know why that is. So my boss is here, Robert, but for some reason he can't comment. Do you guys know why he wouldn't be able to comment? He can see the live, but he can't make a comment. Hey, welcome everybody to the live. We just got 38 people into the room. We're giving away one of these tonight. Yeego 620 watt LED light shipped to you within the United States. At the end of the live, what's a 5-pin relay? I'm going to show, well, I can show you right here. I only got half of the video done. A 5-pin relay is just a basic relay that we use for like setting up a horn, a high wattage light, anything that you need to run more than like 10 amps on, you want to run a relay. So there's a video coming out. I'll give you guys a sneak preview of the video. Sweet, I need to get a few lights, and with the new relay knowledge, I can hook them up in the back of the truck. Great. Yeah, good job. Hope you guys win. These are a good deal. I've been pushing these on our live. I didn't even put no links on tonight. But these things are like $11 now, I think, a module. But man, they're good quality. They're really good quality. Anyway, hey, I'm gonna play you guys a sneak peek of my video, if you don't mind. I seem like when we were doing the live last time, man, we had a lot of people come in when we had the relay and the video going of the truck. So I'm gonna play that for you guys for a moment, if you don't mind. About wiring a 5-pin relay in 5 minutes and 5 steps. Let's go. Stay till the end, because we're going to talk about that center pin, pin 87A, and what it's used for. You can use any color you want, but the color coding makes the diagnosis and the installation way easier. Gather up your materials needed. 30 amp relay, toggle switch, spade terminals, ring terminals, both in 14 gauge and 18 gauge. A fuse, 18 gauge wire in 3 colors, black, red, and blue, preferably. 14 gauge wire, preferably green and red. You are going to need a fuse holder if you don't have a dedicated power source at the fuse panel. It's time for step 2. We're going to build our 5 leads required for this circuit. The blue has a female spade on both ends. The black has a female spade on one end and an eyelet on the other. The red has a spade on one end and an eyelet on the other. The other 2 leads will be 14 gauge wire, one red with an eyelet on one end and a spade connector on the other. The other one will be green with a spade on both ends. Now we'll attach the leads that we made to the relay. The 18 gauge black goes to pin 85. The 18 gauge blue goes to pin 86. These are known as the electromechanical part of the relay. Now we will attach the large 14 gauge red to pin 30. And we'll attach the green 14 gauge wire to pin 87. The relay is wired. Now we got the relay all wired, we're going to move over to the board so we can show you how this all comes together. What'd you guys think? That's the first part of the video. So I'll do the second half and it'll basically show you how to wire a 5-pin relay. And by using the colors, it makes it really simple to hook up. Because you know all the blacks go to the negative side of the battery, the reds go to the positive side of the battery, and the only other wire that you're going to add is you'll add an additional wire from the battery to the switch. So anyway, we'll walk through all that. Hey, thanks for saying that, Doc. So we'll probably, I've been trying to get to the second part of it, but I didn't want to rush it and just post it. So anyway, so we got some good questions tonight. Hey, somebody asked about my boat last week, so I got a you guys can't hear me when I do that, when I take myself off the stage. This is the boat that that I bought. This is that other boat. This is a 1980. It's made by American Boat Company. I got a smoking deal on this thing. This thing is super clean. But I think I might end up selling this boat. I worked on the 63 Elgin today. I pulled the seats out and cleaned it up real good. That little boat is a pretty nice boat. All right. So let's get going on the questions. And tonight, I don't think I'm going to spin the wheel. I'm just going to do, I'm going to pick a number between 0 and 50, and whoever's closest is going to win the light. These are nice lights, man. I'd love to win one of these. They're nice. I made a board. So on the other part of the video, I actually wired up one of these lights on the board. Yeah, okay, we can do that too. I thought about doing that. SketchUp is kind of tough, man. I don't know why I struggle with SketchUp, but I might see if I can do it through on Canva. Is do a diagram as we go, and I might actually, as we're doing that, do some blocks with the numbers on the video. So anyway, all right. Here we go, man. Fun facts. Probably going to do about a 45-minute live tonight. We got a lot going on tomorrow. So anyway, I'd seen some really neat ones in this today when I looked through it. So here we go. You guys should know the answer to this. I think we asked this one before. You could be a pirate now. Yeah, I know. You know what I did, man? So I've been struggling with my glasses because they fixed my left eye. So now when I put my glasses on, My eye's good, but my glasses have prescription on the left eye, so I popped the lens out on the left side. And now, because I can see really good with my left eye, but I can't get glasses for another month and a half. So I figured, you know what, man, I'll just pop the lens out because I can see good out of my right eye, and I can see almost as good with my left eye as I can do it with my right eye with the glasses on. So I get pretty good vision with one lens out. Anyway, so here we go. When was the first production car with air conditioning? What year was the first production car with air conditioning? Any guesses? We did this one. You guys should know the answer to this one. I was thinking we might get some new people in here. Man, last week was crazy. It seems like Tuesday nights are really good. Close. Close. It's in the 30s. Maggot says 72. Maybe in Australia, Maggot. How you doing, brother? Good to see you here tonight. How's your mom doing? You guys are close. 34, 35. You're really close, Motorin. Not far off. Good. Good to hear. Tell her Go Big said hi. So the first factory air conditioning was 1939. So you guys were close. Okay, this was kind of interesting. When was the first roll-up crank window? When was the first roll-up crank window? When you think the first roll-up window? Yeah, it's pretty close, Motorin. In the 20s, it says, but it says in 26, Ford Model T closed car line was among the earliest affordable cars to feature them. Of course, Ford. So when this was a little surprising to me. When was the first power windows, and who created the first power windows or offered them? You the other day, she said to tell you she has traveled miles on the back of a Norton. Really? That's awesome, man. You'll be a little surprised at this one. I was a little surprised. Electric windows. It was actually produced by Packard. You know, Packard was an innovator. They had a lot of firsts, Packard did. Any guesses? It was in the 40s, which I was a little surprised. First power windows. Any guesses? In the 40s. 45, close. Yeah, pretty close. 41. In 1941, yeah, good job, Motorin. In 1941, Packard 180 was the first production car to offer electric windows. That's crazy, huh? Packard, you know, since we started doing this, Packard was a leading innovator for a lot of things. Here's one that'll surprise you too. Did Packard have the front headlight that turned with the wheels? I don't remember. We can find out though. We'll ask at the end here if they did. Packard had a lot of innovative stuff, man. They did. And they were a big car. One of the guys that used to work at the shop where I'm at, he has an old Packard. And man, they're a huge car. I was surprised how big it was. That's motorcycle. Okay, the first car with a factory heater. Think about that. You imagine back in the day when cars didn't even come with a heater? First car, who produced the first heater? And what year for the first built-in cabin heater that used engine coolant? What do you think? Close. In the 30s. Can you believe that? So prior to the 30s, it was a 33 Ford off of the first effective built-in cabin heater that used engine coolant. That's pretty amazing. So if you bought a, no, Robert, you're wrong. Robert says Hyundai. What do you guys think? This is what I got to deal with every day at work, man. Right? He's a pretty good guy. I like him a lot. Okay, the first car with electric starter. And who did it? Who was the first one to produce an electric starter on a car? We talked about that the last time, talking about how the electric starter motor actually revolutionized the automotive industry, because most cars were electric cars prior to the electric starter motor. Yeah, Robert, for some reason, Robert can't comment. He can't comment. He's logged in. He's got his. He said he has his notifications marked and everything, but he can't comment on the live. We've been trying to figure out why. Maybe one of you guys might have some info why he wouldn't be able to comment. He can't comment on the lives for some reason. He can see them, but he can't make a comment. So 1933, earlier. Can you believe that? Earlier. So think about electrics. When electrics went out, the electric starter motor is what came in. That's what created the close. Prior to 1915. Any guesses? Prior to 1915. I cheated. William Berry. At least you're honest. It was 1912. In 1912, Cadillac. Cadillac was the first car. The Model 30 was the first car with electric starter, eliminating need for hand cranking. He has been blocked. The mod does that. Really? We haven't had any, but there was no reason for him to be blocked. I don't know what that's about. Look on your side. There's a way to mute folks. Not sure how, but I have heard people talk about muting people. Yeah, I gotta mess with that because I don't know. I know I didn't block him. I don't think he's ever been able to post on here at all. I don't think he's ever been able to make a comment, ever. So it was 1912 for Cadillac, first electric starter motor. This was amazing to me how much it cost. First car radio. Who do you think created the first car radio and when? What year did they create the car radio? First car radio where you could listen to the radio in the car. Yeah, that guy I was telling you about, he has that old Packard and it has a crank on it, and he was still starting it with the crank. 46. Way earlier than that, Wilt, believe it or not. Yeah, maybe he is on the witness protection program. I got to ask him about that. No, I don't think he's ever been on here, ever. He's tried. Every time he says he gets on here, he can't get on for some reason. He can't comment. If I did block him, I didn't mean to. He's kind of a blockhead, but I wouldn't block him. $1922. 1922 was the first radio in a car. Can you believe that? What do you think it cost? What do you think the cost was for the radio, for the option? And this was in the 20s. It was a crazy cost for the car. It was 20% of the value of the car if you got it with a radio. 20% of the value of the car. So think about that in today's terms. So in today's terms, if 20% of the value of a car, if trucks are now 80,000, you're close, Will. $200. It was $200 in 1922. In 1922, $200 was a chunk of change, man. So you figure that car was $1,000 and 200 of it was the radio. That's crazy. So 20% of 80,000 on today's term, that radio would cost you $16,000 to have a radio. Can you imagine? 20% of the value of the vehicle. And it was done, Chevrolet was the one that started the first radio. Chevrolet offered the first commercial car mounted radio in 1922. Yeah, it's like 16,000 in today's terms. That'd be 20% of 80. It said, okay, so here we go. When was the first windshield wipers? When was the first windshield wipers? Think about that, man. Before this time, if you wanted to wipe your windows, you had to get out and wipe them or put your arm out the window. The first windshield wipers. So they came standard in 1913. 1930s. Hey, welcome to the live, Ali Narani. I don't think I've seen you here before. Welcome to the live. Thanks for being here. 1903. It was patented in 1903, and by 1913, wipers became standard equipment. What was the first turn signals? I remember I had a 51 Chevy pickup, and it had vacuum operated wipers on it. So let's see, what was the deal? When you went full throttle, they'd almost stop. They'd go like this. And then when you let off the throttle, they'd go really fast because the vacuum would increase when you got off the throttle, and vacuum drops as you throttle down. So when you went full throttle, like pulling a hill, the wipers would be going like this, and then they'd go. They'd barely move going up the hill. 1912. First factory installed turn signals was 1939, and they were called flashway directional signals. Buick was the first one that developed turn signals. This was kind of surprising to me when I read it. I was like, wow, really? I know that when the small block came in, but what was the first mass-produced V8 engine? This will kind of shock you, unless you're up on that stuff. When was the first mass-produced V8? First mass-produced V8 engine. And it was, pretty neat facts. I like these facts. They're interesting. It was actually produced by Cadillac. Cadillac's in there again. Cadillac had a lot of early stuff too. I used to hate working on Cadillacs. They had all kinds of crazy electrical nightmare stuff back in the 80s. First mass-produced V8. It'll shock you. It was earlier than the 20s. Any guesses? Earlier than 1920. First mass-produced V8 was earlier than 1920. North Star V8, best V8 there is. North Star V8. When did they build the North Star? Not even familiar with that. Makes me a lot of money. You're close, Will. 1914. 1914 was the first V8. Just think about them old gearheads in 1914 out there wrenching on their V8s. It was actually produced by Cadillac. It was called the L-head V8 in 1914. North Stars. Okay, North Star. I'm thinking North Star. It was 1914, Carl. Yeah. It says Cadillac created the first successful mass-produced V8 in 1914 called the L-head. This was the one that, here, I'll give you one more. And this last one, this one I'm going to give you was really shocking to me. Is first car with cruise control. When do you think the first cruise control came out? That's what's funny. We look at all this new technology that comes out thinking, oh, this is the newest, new technology you just created. A lot of stuff's been around forever. This one will shock you. Okay, and when was the first cruise control? When was the first cruise control? It was prior to the 60s. Yeah, I was a little shocked with that too myself, Carl. 1914, 1937. Later than that, actually the first cruise control was created by Chrysler. Yeah, you're right, William Berry. Welcome to the live, William. In 1958, Chrysler Imperial. The Chrysler Imperial was the first to debut autopilot, the first mechanical cruise control system. Do you guys remember the early cruise controls? They were vacuum operated and they had a chain attached to the throttle. I was around when those things were around, man. It had a chain. It had a vacuum pod and a chain that hooked to the throttle, and it pulled and released the throttle. This is the one that really shocked me. I think I heard that on Jay Leno. Toilet chain. Yeah, Will, it looked like a toilet chain. It was just a chain with a little clip on it, and you could adjust the tension on it. I always thought, man, those things look dangerous. Like they could get hang up on something. Had vacuum operated cruise control till the 90s, I think. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I think maybe the one on my motorhome is still like that. I haven't looked at it, but I think it is. It's just like a vacuum operated. This is the one that really shocked me. What was the first car with a backup camera? We think backup cameras are all like new technology that nobody's seen before. What was the first backup camera? You wouldn't even think they had cameras on cars back in the day. What was the first car with a backup camera? Any guesses? I make you guys guess so I can get like lots of comments, right? DeLorean, Lamborghini, 2000s. Nope. It'll shock you how early it was. Close, William. You're close. It was developed by Buick. The Buick Centurion concept featured a rear view camera way ahead of its time in 1956. 1956 was the first backup camera. What about, was the first turbocharged production car? Turbocharger. What was the first turbocharger? Yeah, the backup camera was one that really floored me. I was like, backup camera in the 56? Really? I didn't even think they had cameras, like that early. 56, they had a camera in the backup camera. to be around the jet age. Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's probably where it came from. What was the first turbocharged production car? What was the first turbo production car? Turbocharged production car. It was made by Oldsmobile called the Jetfire and the 62 Chevy Corvair Monza. So in 1962 was the first turbocharger in the Monza, in the Corvair Monza, and the Oldsmobile Jetfire. Hey, do you guys remember the Chevy Monza? It was a little light little car and had a 305 big small block in it. Little tiny car. It was called a Monza. Man, they were a nightmare to change spark plugs on. You couldn't even get the spark plugs out of them without drilling holes in the firewall. They had a 305 in them. They were just a little tiny car. Year you were born, huh, motoring? Oh, hey, I didn't forget about your thing either. It's wrapped up in a box, ready to be mailed out. I was supposed to get it out in the mail on Wednesday, and it's been a crazy week. I apologize that I haven't got it to you in the mail yet, but it'll get out in the mail on Monday. Yeah, they were a little sleeper car, man, because they had a big motor for a little car. And some of them came with a 4-speed in them. They were quite the car. When was the first 4-wheel drive production car? I was a little surprised at this one too. Yeah, I'll get it out for sure on Monday. It's all boxed up. I had a crazy week, man. It was a little nuts. When was the first production 4-wheel drive production car? I was a little surprised how early. 34. Well, you'll be surprised at this. It was from New Netherlands, and it was actually the first with a 4-wheel drive, and it was actually the first with a 6-cylinder engine. It was a 1903 Spiker, Spyker, 1903 Spiker from New Netherlands. Yeah, I might save some money on shipping by dragging my feet, huh, motoring? Hopefully. So what year was the first automatic transmission? Yeah, me too, Will. I enjoy doing this because there's a lot of facts that I was unaware of. Well, because this is before my time. Like all the cars earlier, my cars are like from the 60s, well, 50s up, So a lot of this stuff is new to me. What was the first car with an automatic transmission? What year? It was an Oldsmobile. Oldsmobile was the first. You were close, Doc Mojo. 1940. 1940 was the first production. It was the Hydramatic made by Oldsmobile. This is a little not surprising, but man, you would think prior to this year, people would, 2-speed power glide. Yep, that's exactly what it was. What year was the first car with power steering? So think about it. Prior to this power steering, people were all running around with manual gearboxes. Yeah, I thought they were too. They had a nice sound to them when they shifted. They had their own sound. First car with power steering, what year? It was actually made by Chrysler. So you hear a lot of these early inventions by Chrysler, Cadillac, and Packard. 39. No, William, it's a little later than that. In the 50s. Any guesses? Yeah, you ain't kidding. They make junk transmissions now. They're so expensive to work on now. Anytime, transmissions are more expensive than motors now. Sometimes a transmission will cost you $6,000 or $7,000 out repaired. 43. You're close, Carl. 1951 was the first power steering. So think about that. Prior to 1951, everything had a manual gearbox in it. That's why you see them old cars with them big old wheels, man. So you can turn that sucker. This was a little surprising too, I thought. The first car with seat belts. Who do you think did it and what year? First car with a seat belt in it. Says, though nearly everyone removed them, they didn't become mandatory until when? So they came with the seat belts and people would take them out. What year? So the seat belt was developed by Nash. What year do you think? 76 Pinto. 1960s. Earlier than that. You'll be surprised. I was a little surprised. So it's in the 40s, believe it or not. The first seatbelt was in the 40s. Any guesses? I drag my feet with you guys so I can make you comment. That's almost mean, isn't it? 1949. 1949 was the first seatbelt. This one, it was... I think everyone will know pretty close to this one. First car with a catalytic converter. What year did the catalytic converter come out? What year did the catalytic converter come out? We'll talk a little bit 75. You're right. You're right, Doc. I'll talk a little bit about catalytic converters for a moment. So when catalytic converters came out, I did a bunch of research, and when they came out and were mandated, they cost the manufacturers an extra $4,000 to build a car. Because in the old, I don't know what they're using now, but in the old catalytic converters, they had platinum, palladium, and rhodium. Those are the three chemicals that are inside a catalytic converter. And platinum is actually more expensive than gold. So that's why you see people stealing them all the time. Because they have companies that actually, they melt those down and they remove the precious metals. So the platinum, the palladium, and the rhodium is removed and they sell it like spot, like they do with gold. And that's why they get so much for these catalytic converters from these like places that melt them down, because there's such high value in the precious metals. And the manufacturers, yeah, I'm working on that. I got an idea about that where I can stop it. Well, rhodium is, and I think rhodium, they don't use them as big as much of an amount as the platinum. Platinum they use quite a bit, but the rhodium is a smaller amount, but very expensive. So those are the three precious metals in catalytic converters. Yep. And when they first came out, I don't know if you guys remember. Do you guys remember the GM cars? And they had these big, long cats that were real thick. And they had a bed on them. Yep, there's a way to do that. I'm working on it. They make shields for them, but to me, the shields are just junk. They're made out of aluminum. I mean, if a guy can cut the exhaust off with one of those saws, what do you think they're going to do with a aluminum cover that bolts on? The bolt-on shields to me are just stupid. They don't make any sense to me. Here we go. First diesel-powered passenger car. First diesel-powered passenger car. What year and who built it? Actually, this company was an innovator when it came to diesels. It was made by Mercedes. Yep, you got it, Wilt. Mercedes. Mercedes have been innovators of the Rabbit. Yeah. You know, those diesel Rabbits, the system that they use a Bosch system on those, and they used them on a lot of European cars. And if you knew how to work on them, they were a really good system, actually. Yeah, they last forever. That they had like a big pedal that moved up and down for the diesel injection. It was kind of a weird system. But man, if you knew how to work on them, you could almost make a career out of it. 1936. Can you believe that? 36 was the first passenger car diesel powered. That's a little surprising. Wow, this is a little surprising one. I would get this question wrong. What was the first car with onboard diagnostics? OBD. First car with OBD, onboard diagnostics. Do you work on these or just gas? I've done some diesel work. I used to work on some diesel stuff prior to when I went to work for a government agency, and I'm not a diesel mechanic, but I can work on them. I don't claim to be a diesel mechanic, but I've worked on some diesel stuff. Worked for Volts 30 years. During those Rabbit years, Bosch would not let us rebuild those pumps. Really? Welcome to live, Apple Cider. Hey, you got to get on our list of guys that knows what they're doing. We're putting together a list of people that have 20 to 30 years in the industry where we can put a forum together where we can answer questions for people. Hope to see you back here, Apple Cider. 30 years for Volkswagen, that's something there. 80s, 1970s. I was surprised. 1969. And it was Volkswagen. Volkswagen introduced the first OBD in 1969, onboard diagnostics. I'm trying to think back. Do you guys remember the Chrysler lean burn system that had the early Chryslers in the 70s that had an O2 sensor on them? It was like 77 and 8 right in there. Some of the Chrysler stuff was starting to mess with, I'm sure they had diagnostics, but they went to a closed loop system in about the mid 70s. Chrysler did. It was called the lean burn. Yeah, the Cordovas. Yeah, they had a 318 in them. They had an O2 sensor on them. I remember we'd get underneath there and have to check them with a meter. You'd have to hook a meter up to the O2. Man, that's one of my favorite cars, Christopher. Welcome to the live, Christopher. Maynard. Yeah, Barracuda is probably one of my favorite cars. I'd love to build one. I'd love to. I just seen one of those on Face. They had 400 also. Cadillac had a bunch of weird stuff, man. Do you guys remember the 468 that Cadillac had? It would kill 2 cylinders at a time for fuel mileage. They would shut down the cylinders. Nothing like Detroit muscle. You ain't kidding. Okay, what was the first car to reach 100 miles per hour? What was the first car to reach 100 miles per hour? I was a little surprised at this one too. Yeah, VVT. Is that what it was called, Will? Variable valve timing. Is that what it was? Buick Century. It was early. It's a car I've never even heard of before. It was in 1905. Any guesses on what kind of car? You guys probably never heard of this before. Stunts Bearcat. AMC. Hey, AMC built some neat stuff, man. Do you guys remember the AMC Hornet? They built a little car called the Hornet, and it came with like a 318 in it. It was a little sleeper car. It was called the AMC Hornet. When I was working at this one shop, the lady that was one of the secretaries, she bought one and got it at a good deal. The Javelin too, yeah. And she got it at a good deal, and she brought it in. I said, hey, I'll work on it for you. I stayed after and got it going for her, and it just needed points. And man, that thing was a rocket ship. Yeah, a lot of people like the Javelin. That AMC Javelin was a nice car. It was a fast car too. So the first car to hit was in 1905. It was called a Napier 6. A Napier, Napier 6 was one of the first cars documented to exceed 100 miles an hour. When was the first sunroof? I hated those Eagles. Those things are the biggest pile of crap. I hated those things. The Eagle. Hey, Father Time. How you doing, brother? First car with a sunroof was what year? Yeah, the Pacer, wasn't that quite the car? Had that big old huge round back window on it. The Eagle was cool because it was four-wheel drive, but man, I always thought they were such a pile. I think, didn't they run like a Dodge motor in them? Sunroof in the 40s. Close. Motoring. The first sunroof was Nash again. Nash was kind of an innovator, huh? So Nash offered the first factory-installed sunroof in 1937. Yeah, what do you think one of those back windows on one of those Pacers is worth now if you had one laying around? I bet you those windows are worth $2,000. I bet you I couldn't imagine what that back window costs now because they were rounded glass and you know they got broke a lot. I bet you one of those glasses for that thing is a fortune, man. First car with plastic composite body. Yeah, I bet you couldn't. Yeah, if you found a Pacer window, it'd probably be worth a lot of money if somebody wanted it. What's the first car with a plastic composite body? First car with plastic composite body. Fiero. You would think, yeah, Will, you're right. It was a Corvette. It was in 1953. The Chevrolet Corvette was the first mass-produced fiberglass body car. Here's a good one. What was the first car with disc brakes? First car with disc brakes. This will surprise you. A mini Trans Am with mid-engine. Fiero. Yeah, it's what they call it. It says, I know they did say plastic, but they call it plastic composite. So I guess they're considering fiberglass as a plastic composite. Jaguar. The first car with disc brakes was called a Chrysler. What year? What year was the Chrysler the first vehicle with disc brakes? This is like shocking to me. Everybody thinks, oh, everything, this new technology, it's not new technology. It's old technology that we're reinventing. I think it was a Pinto, Robert says. We think Robert says Pinto. It was a 19. Hey, Will, I get it. I'm getting from my buddy Bob. Bob is Chat GPT. I'm cheating. It makes it fast. I could Google them. A 49 Chrysler. Last question. The Chrysler was in 1949. In 1949 was the year of the disc brakes. This is the last question, and I'm going to write a number down, and whoever guesses closest to that number is going to win tonight. What was the first car with a hybrid drivetrain? We're almost done, Doc. What was the first car with a hybrid engine? This ought to be a no-brainer. They're still around. 1997, what? First hybrid. 1997 Toyota. All right, I'm going to write down a number. See my paper right here. I'm going to write a number on here right now. You're right, Motorin. I'm going to write a number down. And then whoever's in the live right now is going to guess the number. And whoever's closest is going to win this bad to the bone LED light. I'm telling you what, man, these things are awesome. These things are amazing. Anybody who wants to buy these, if you want to stick around, I'll put up the, okay, Wilt says 17. I'm going to write your guys' numbers down. Apple is 44. Everybody that's here, get your numbers in. Doc, what'd you get? What's your number, Robert? Give me a number. Father Time is 7. Wilt is 17. Bobo, give me a number. Robert, give me a number. 32. Motorin's 25. Carl's 30. Carl is 30. Robert's 32. Then 5. Okay, I want to check your guys' number, make sure I didn't miss somebody. Rainy Girl 65. Hey, welcome to the live, Rainy Girl. Rainy Girl's number is 67. Make sure I got everybody. Doc 73, 7, motors 25, 17, 30, 25. Let me check to make sure. Bobo Robert won. Robert's the winner. He guessed at 32 and the number was 37. He's within 5. Robert Castaneda, he just won an LED light. Congratulations, Bobo. You won something. The number was 37. Carl had 30. Yeah, Carl was 7 away. And Robert had 32. And he was 5 away. You guys couldn't see Robert's number because he's on my messenger. He couldn't comment on here. So, if you guys, if anyone's interested in these, I'll post the link. You can get 2 for like, I think you can get a pair for like 27 bucks. Hey, Doc, thanks for that. I appreciate it, brother. I really do. It helps. Whenever we get thanks like that, there's a little button on your phone that says thank you. Hey, Lee Harris. How you doing, brother? You missed out on the drawing, huh? But if you guys want to hang around, if anyone wants to purchase these, I'll put them up. If not, I won't waste my time. But these are, this is a new company called Yeego. And I bought some of these just to see what they were about. And I'm really impressed with them. They're all aluminum housed. They're aluminum finned. They have stainless steel hardware. All the hardware is stainless steel. And they got 3 loads. Hey, Will, you like spinning better? Okay, we'll do that. I was being lazy tonight. I had a long day, man. I'm sorry. I was trying to get the live together at the last minute, and I was outside. So that's kind of why. Has stolen my friend's private photos. Okay, guys. You can tell what that's about. Yeah, I can show you what the brackets look like, Doc. So what they do, they encapsulate these 2 screws, like you see those screws in there? And then the bracket screws to that, and it's a single stud. So it's a single stud for the mount. So it's just like a 5/16 hole nut on the back side. And then the bracket attaches to this, And the bracket allows you to rotate them like this. And then you can tighten them up. So the stud doesn't come down. It comes from the back this way. So, but you can put them low. So they come out this way. Yeah, okay, give me a second. And if you guys hang around, I'll give me a second and I'll drop a link for them. I got to go to my other account, though, to do that. Give me just a minute. I'm still with you. I'm just grabbing the link. Takes just a second. You guys still with me? So, Doc, this is a set of 2. And these come with the harness and the switch and everything. They're like 29 bucks. And then you can get like a 4, you can get a set of 4 for like 45, but they don't come with all the wiring. So you can get them just the lights, or you can get them with the lights with the harness. To me, the harness is almost worth it, because like if you buy 2 sets of the doubles and you need 4, you get for 60 bucks, you get the 2 harnesses with it. The other way, it's $15 cheaper if you buy them without the harness. But you get the button and all that, which is kind of nice. Because then you don't have to, for me, it's not a big deal. But some people, they don't like messing with trying to figure out the switch and all that. So they're nice lights, so I really like them. They're super bright. I'll tell you guys something else about them. So LED lighting, the problem with LED lighting is they're very direct. Because I've done a lot of emergency lighting. That's kind of what I do. So a lot of times LED lighting is just really direct, no outside lighting. The link's not working? Let me see. Should. Well, that's weird. I wonder if maybe I got to put it in the description. Motor and the link's not working? It should work. I don't know why it wouldn't, but I may have to list it in the description maybe. Hey, if you guys can't show up blue and clickable on vertical live streams. Work on a PC. Okay. So maybe if you're on a phone, it won't pull up. Hey, hey, Doc, what I'll do is after I end this live, I'll go back to the description and drop it in there. So if you go back to this live and play it and go to the description, you can click on the link from there. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I wonder if yeah, you're supposed to be clickable from there. Maybe only on PC. So maybe on the phone, it's not clickable. Anyway, what I was talking about on the lights. Well, if you missed it this week, I'll put it in the description next week for sure. But anyone that wants to look at these, when I end the live, I'll go back to the description and I'll drop the link in the description and it'll be there. You just have to go to this video and start to play it. Yeah, you're on a phone. Okay, Doc. We make a few bucks on these. They're affiliated with us. But what I was going to say about the lights is it has a center section that is direct, And then it has one on the right and left that kind of go like this. So you get more like lighting that spreads. Because a lot of times LEDs are so direct, you just get a single beam. Well, these got a straight beam and then they got a flood beam both directions. So anyway, after when I get done here, I'll list these in the description. Any of the lives that we've done, or even on some of our videos, these are in there. Lee Harris on her horizontal. Okay, that's what it is. It's because we're vertical. Yeah. They kind of, I don't know what that, you know what though? We're going to start being able to do it both ways. StreamYard just started a thing now where we can do vertical and horizontal at the same time. So what we're going to do is we're going to start doing the vertical so they feed it out to the live stream and they feed it out to the shorts feed, and then we'll be able to go horizontal. It just came out today. We'll be able to do both. So maybe next time I'll get it all figured out where we can be horizontal and we still get fed out to the shorts feed. Yeah, they do, man. I don't know why they made it to where if you went horizontal, you don't get fed out. So what I'll do is after I get done, when we end this live, I'll go over to the YouTube side and I'll drop the links under the description for this video. So when this ends, if you go to our page, go to the lives and then go to the live for tonight, the link will be there. That's kind of a weird way to do it, but I thought we was able to click on these links from here, but only on PC, I guess, huh? I know that we can I can put it up on the screen. I wonder if that changes it. When I put it up on the screen. Let's see. Let's see if I can, because I can post it to the screen, but I don't know if that changes anything. I got to show it. So I don't know if that helps at all. Hey, when do you guys try to click on that link that's on the screen and see if it allows you to? I don't think it will though. I think it just highlights it. It just pins it. But I'll make sure I put these. Are you guys more interested in the 4-pack or the 2-packs? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just didn't list nothing tonight. I was in a hurry. I was going to list these in the description. You guys know how to get to the description on your phone? If you go to those 3 little dots at the top of your phone, you can get to the description. 2-pack. With the buttons or no? They're cheaper if you get them without the harness. With the harness, they're a little more. I think they're like $26 with the harness, or without the harness, and with the harness, they're like $36. You pay like $10 for the harness. All right, I'll list them. So as soon as we get done here, I'll list them in the description, a 2-pack. They're a good deal though. I've been impressed with them. I really have. When I bought them, I was like, well, I'm just going to try them just to see. And then, because they're a good price right now. They actually came down in price a little bit. They started out at like $48 for 4. If it helps you, I would like the harness. All right. You know what? When I get done here tonight, in the description for this video, I'll list both. I'll put the 2 without the harness, 2 with the harness, and then I'll put the 4-pack. So you guys can decide. You can look at them and decide. Anyway, I appreciate you guys doing that. It really helps us out on the channel. And normally I put links up on the lives, and I usually have a tool that I'll display for the live. But tonight I didn't. Tonight I didn't list anything. I was in kind of a hurry. I was outside. I was working on that red. I was working on that red boat. I pulled the seats out, and I cleaned it all up and kind of scrubbed the bottom of the boat. It's pretty clean. Just some of where the mounts are for the seat backs, I'm going to redo all that. So motoring, Lee, you had a problem with the, you had a shift problem? That's one of the things that coming up that we're, oh, I didn't tell you guys. I don't know if I told you guys or not. Here, I'll post the link here. I'm not, don't give me too much crap because it's not done, but it's actually, I got to go in and do a bunch of edits on the website, but we got our website up now. It's called gobigtools.com. So we're gonna start messing with that a little bit, and I'm gonna sign up for this thing called kit.com, where we can offer people like members. You know, they can, if you send us your email, it puts you on a list, so we can send out like monthly letters and all that stuff. Well, that's cool, Motorin. Did you help him out to get him pushed ahead in the front of the line? That's awesome, man. Thanks for doing that. Transmissions, man, that can be an expensive adventure anymore. It's very expensive. My grandson just had a tranny put in his Chevy pickup. It was like $6,000 or something like that. It was crazy. So the schedule now is going to be, I'm trying to keep up on the schedule, guys. I really am. But I'm back to work. So, but I think I'm going to be able to pull it off. Tuesday nights we're going to do the, we're showing our projects, Tinkering Tuesdays. So Tuesdays will be just project night. We had a really good turnout on Tuesday night, man. It was crazy. We had like almost 5,000 views Tuesday night. And then Fridays we're going to continue to do the tool giveaway. But Saturdays now I'm doing like a podcast for basic automotive, for people that don't have a clue about nothing other than how to get the hood open. So on Saturdays, I'm doing basic. It just, it comes with just a, Robert was talking to me. Yeah, that was pretty cool. On Saturdays, we're going to do it at 11 a.m. in the morning. So at 11 a.m. on Saturdays, we're going to do, we're calling it KISS. Keep it simple. And I was going to say keep it simple, Steve, but I think I'm going to call it keep it simple, Sally. What do you think? So Saturdays is just going to be, you know, this is an alternator. This is what it looks like. This is what it does. This is how you know if your alternator is going bad. Last week I did just basic brake system. And just so you guys know, the lives now, we're letting them go live here, and then as soon as they're over, we're putting them on the podcast list. And what that does is it puts us on the YouTube music channel as a podcast. So if you're somewhere, you want somebody to hear the podcast, you can listen to it. You can listen to these lives on YouTube Music now. Under their, just put in Go Big Garage 66 weekly podcast, and it'll pull it up as an audio. Off topic, but is there an easy way to tell which trans line push the fluid. I have a 18 Chevy with the trans shake. I need to flush the old fluid with the recommended mobile trans fluid. So you want to know which one is not the suction, but the pressure line. Gosh, I'm not the guy for that. Motorin might be able to help us with that. Or Wilt. Anyone have any? You're getting famous. I don't think I'm famous, man, yet. I don't think I'm famous. I'm famously broke. That's what I'm famous for. I'm just going to keep grinding on it, man. I'm just going to keep drop the pan. It sounds like they want him to flush the cooler, though. Yeah, that'd be a good idea to drain the converter. So, Doc, the torque converter has a plug in it that you can take out, and you got to rotate it around to the bottom and take that plug out, and you'll get about, I don't know, 4 or 5 more quarts out of it. And like he said, it's if you drop the pan and drain the converter, you'll get a big part of that fluid out. Yes, Chad. You'd be surprised what Chad knows. Let's see what Chad says just for the heck of it. It's an 18. Is that a pickup, Doc? Let's see what Chad does just for the heck of it. See what old Chad says. Oh, I'm trying to talk to Robert. You want to be on the pressure line, it sounds like. Which transmission line on a 2018 transmission is the pressure line? Before you know it, old Chat, he'll be able to fix stuff. No, that's all right, man. He wants to know model. What model is it, Doc? 2018 what? Z71 pickup? Z71 pickup. He wants to know, is it a 1500? Yes, it's a 1500. Old Chat's going to put us out of business for L80. This doesn't show the four. Doc, what size motor is that? Is that a 5.3? You don't list the 4L. They list the 6L and the 8L. Well, Chad ain't as smart as we thought he was, huh? It's a 6.2 liter motor. says the pressure line is the lower line. That's what chat says. If you take it off and just put a hose on there and fire it and just see, it's going to blast fluid out of there if it's the pressure line. If it's a suction line, you won't, it's going to suck. Yeah, I don't think it's worth all that. It's all complicated. The new stuff is so much harder to do stuff to, man. You know? It's so hard to do mods on any of that new stuff anymore. It's crazy. Like at work, if we want to change out a module now, you have to hook up the scanner. You have to download the information out of the old module, then take the module out, put the new module in, then you got to download the file into the new module or it won't work. Yeah, that'll work. It'll be pretty obvious. One's gonna blow and one's gonna suck. I think what he's trying to do though, Will, is he's trying to like yeah, maybe he's not. Yeah, I agree with Will, Doc. You don't really have to take those lines off. Just drop the pan and get all the fluid out of the pan and then drain the torque converter. On the torque converter, you got to turn it, and then there's a plug on there you can take out, and it'll get out like another 4 or 5 quarts. Sometimes you can just have somebody bump the starter. I don't think that little bit of fluid that's left in that line is going to matter. You're not talking about a lot of fluid. And you don't usually get it all out of the tranny anyway. There's always leftover fluid in the clutch packs and all that. So you're never, it's going to be pretty tough. The only way you can do that is take it to a tranny shop and they can hook it up. They can hook it up to a machine where they actually hook onto the pressure and the return, and they'll put new fluid in it and suck out, you know, they put it through a flush. Yeah, I would think just drain it the much as you can out. You'll never get it all out. Probably be better just to like service it and then wait a couple weeks and then service it again. Get as much as you can out. Well, you know what? While you got the pan off, it's best to drop the pan anyway. Drop the pan and then drain the fluid out of the pan real slow, and then wait and leave about a quart in there or less, maybe a couple cups, and then take a look at it to make sure it's not all full of material, because you could have like lost some of the clutch plates. You'll know it. Usually it'll be dark black and stinky, and then the fluid will you can see it has like little fine particles in it. All right, boys and girls, going to call it a night. Thanks everybody for showing up. And like I said, when I end this, I'll go drop these links on these lights on this video in the description. The links will be there for these things. I'll do the 2 with, 2 without, and then I'll do a 4-pack. All right. Thanks everybody for showing up. Appreciate it. Thanks, Doc, for the bonus tonight. We appreciate that 100%. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Let's see, today's Friday. Yeah, so tomorrow we'll be doing our Saturday at 11 a.m. So if you want to look at really basic though, I'm going to do the teaching like Really, really down to a basic level. Super basic. All right, guys, I'm out. Take care. Thanks for showing. Appreciate it a lot.